What's up guys, Chris here, back into Red Dead with a quick video, and today we're going to talk about performance. This is a big issue currently plaguing the PC installation. Chances are that if you're here, you're also encountering them, and I'm also encountering them as well. There's a lot of players who have problems with the frame drops, with the stuttering, game stability, and there's people who can't even get into the game in the first place due to all the crashing that is happening. So I'm going to bring you my settings. These are the ones that work the best for me. I've searched around and it seems that most players who managed to fix their game kind of agree that these are the ones that should work the best. So hopefully these will work for you as well, but there is a disclaimer here that I'm going to give you. This isn't going to fix all of your problems. Rockstar Games still needs to step in and bring a good patch to fix the big issues that are still affecting the game. In the meantime, this is the next best thing, so let's just jump right into it. Now I'm going to start things off and pretty much get this out of the way, but you should probably start updating both of your GPU drivers as well as the game installation. If you're an NVIDIA user, you pretty much have to install the latest drivers, which are 441.12. These have been released yesterday. They are specific to Red Dead Redemption 2, and these help quite a bit with the game performance. The same goes for the game as well. In case you haven't received the latest patch, there was one that was released yesterday. If you are unable to get into the game in the first place, maybe try restarting the Rockstar Games launcher, and what this does is it makes the update to download automatically and apply to your game. As far as the other settings go, these are the ones that I have, and by the way, the PC specs are in the description box if you want to check them out. First of all, I just want to go over the video memory over here real quick. As you can see, it only recognizes 9.3 gigs out of the 11 ones that I have, and this is not just me, it's everybody else. It seems that about 1.7 gigs of VRAM is reserved for some reason. I haven't seen any other game doing this, but Red Dead Redemption 2 has this, so in case you're wondering where some of the stuttering is coming from, it's probably from the fact that some of the VRAM is reserved, or at the very least hidden or inaccessible. Anyway, as far as the other settings go, these are the ones that I'm using. Resolution is the maximum that I'm currently supporting, but you can turn this down to 1080p for a little bit better performance, but I chose to keep it at the default resolution of my screen. Refresh rate is something that I actually recommend bringing down to 60, as this will cap the frame rates to 60 as well, and not using VSync, because VSync and triple buffering might cause some issues. Also maybe some input lag if you're just using VSync. Triple buffering can help with that, but again, just turn these off and go with a cap limiter. Either just bring down the refresh rate from in-game, or your graphics settings should be able to do that as well. And this helps a lot, not with the frame rates, but with the stability of my overall system. I can record better, it doesn't utilize my GPU as much. It's not ideal, but it does help quite a bit before Rockstar Games come in with their own patch to fix this. Now, as far as the rest of the settings go, here are the ones that I'm using currently. I've turned everything to high with the exception of texture quality, and I would normally recommend to bring this down to high as well, because it's gonna save you those 5 to 10 frame rates per second. The problem is that for some reason it seems that the texture quality is bugged, and if you bring this any lower than ultra, it's going to make the textures really muddy. In this case, as you can see, it's pretty okay. If you bring this any lower than this, it's going to be a muddy mess. So if you want to prioritize looks over a little bit of frame rates, and if you have some frame rates to spare, bring this to ultra and leave everything else on high. If you can't spare that, bring that to high and just don't look at textures. Anisotropic filtering, bring this to 16. This is something that should help you with those really ugly textures, though I'm pretty sure that this is borked as well for some reason. Outside of these, you can leave everything else on high if you have a good enough system, but the settings that you should be looking into are, of course, the water quality and the grass quality, and these have more settings later down the line. Most important of all, it comes in terms to anti-aliasing, and yeah, Msaa, turn this off no matter what. You can bring this, technically speaking, to ×2, but it's a big performance hitter. It's better to just use FXAA and TAA, otherwise Msaa is just as big of a performance hit as it was in GTA 5. Now, the advanced graphics is something that I want to talk about, and this is the more important one. This is the more important section. Of course, first time you get into this section, it's going to be locked, which is why I suggest you unlocking and take a close look at the first setting over here, which is the graphics API. API. Now in my case it is the most stable if I'm using DirectX 12. I did go ahead and ran about 10 benchmarks both with DirectX 12 as well as with Vulkan, and Vulkan generally speaking has better frame rates. It's a difference of about 1 to 2 frame rates per second in the favor of the Vulkan API. The problem is the Vulkan API has some really poor implementation currently, and it's causing a lot of graphical issues. It's not just the stability, the game crashing, it's also causing, for example, the graphics menu to flicker, a lot of parts will disappear. If you have any problems with text disappearing, if you have certain parts of it flickering or just fading away, yeah, it's maybe because of the Vulkan API, which is why I suggest you guys getting back to DirectX 12. The thing is, there's no real solution over here. A lot of players are complaining that DirectX 12 is causing these issues, while other players are complaining about Vulkan causing these issues. So the best course of action here is to switch between these two. It's going to require a restart, but it's the best thing you can do. Just test it out and see which works the best for you. But generally speaking, Vulkan, when it's going to get fully fixed, it's going to be the better performer. As far as the rest of the settings go, the bigger performance hitter here is the grass level of detail. Between the maximum and the minimum setting, there's a difference of about 7 to 10 frame rates per second, at least on my system. So maybe just bring this down a little bit, not on the minimum setting because it might look a little bit bad, but somewhere in the middle should be better, and you should save about 3 to 5 frame rates per second just by bringing down the grass level of detail a little bit. Now just for the sake of it, as you can see, I can run this at about 87 to 90 frame rates per second in most scenarios. It doesn't drop any lower than 75 with the settings that I currently have on my system, but it could definitely be better. The gameplay is smooth for me, as you can see right now. I haven't encountered any big problems. Even going into cities doesn't drop it too much, but since it's a fresh release, it is bound to have problems, especially for a big game like this. But yeah, this is pretty much it. Tell me down below what types of issues are you still encountering on the PC installation, and what solutions have you found out, if you found any to begin with. In the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, a thumbs up on it would be super appreciated. Also subscribe and activate that notification bell, and I'll see you guys in a bit.